Imagine the cutest child in the world. She looks so beautiful, just like an angel. And now she asks you, will I be cured, doctor? Yesterday evening I got a call. Someone was asking for advice about a patient who was dying. But I was not able to tell the boy that his mother is going to die. And we, medicine, can't do anything to help her. After an hour, I got another call. A friend of mine was calling. And he's telling me, man, this is the end of my life. She said no to me, but I can't live without her. Well, I said in my mind, somewhere I have already heard something like that. Oh yes, it was myself maybe a decade ago. But I'm still alive, I guess. When I was going back home, in the yard I met one of my neighbors who was parking his luxury BMW, and he's telling me, I can't live like this anymore. I got 2 more tickets for driving. Can you imagine? I'm so desperate. Oh yes, you are so desperate, I replied and continued. But you know, you should be proud of yourself. Why? He looked at me surprised. Because God gives obstacles on this to the strongest people. When I went upstairs and started checking my mailbox, I got one of those spams what we are getting all the time. Dear sir, madam, I'm the representative of the desperate widow from New Zealand who expired just a few days ago, and she left a huge heritage to you. Please contact me back to get your money. And I got angry that unfortunately this was not true. When I opened my Facebook, a friend of mine posted, if you are fighting, you can lose. If you don't fight, you already lost. He got a lot of likes and few comments. One of them was, I'm already fed up. There is no way to fight in this country. The only way is to leave. And I remember that recently another my friend said something similar. He said, I'm ready even to cut my testes for staying in Europe. I said, boy, don't do that. It's going to be painful. I'm sure he was not going to cut his balls. It was just figuratively said. But let's stop for a moment. How much we complain about the trivial things. They turned off the hot water for a day. So bad. They put onion in my kebab, but I said without onion. Disaster. No sex for 3 weeks? Catastrophe. I remember one of the hardest moments in my life when in one of the mornings I was returning back from a conference in Germany, and I called the father of my patient who was getting treatment at that time outside. I had some inner feeling that something happened. So when I called the father of the patient with whom we already became like friends, he told me, Doctor, I wish you would have never called. My angel told us goodbye in the night. I stopped frozen. I had no words to say. Then I went upstairs. It was a working day. The chief of the clinic assigned few patients for me, and there was a brilliant boy with leukemia. He was smiling, and I needed to smile as well, that the child does not notice what I felt just a few minutes ago. It was a freezing Austrian winter. The snow was covering the pavements and the roofs of the nearby buildings. In the canteen, they prepared the hot soup, but that was not hot enough. Once I was rounding with the chief of the clinic of one of the hospitals in Chicago, a plump and old Lithuanian guy who looked like Santa, one of the most positive persons I have ever met. He could even sing opera couplets in the world. So when we entered the exam room, there was a boy who survived brain cancer, his mother and grandmother. So when we entered, the professor looked at the grandmother and said, "Oh, you are still alive." That was the rudest and, in the meantime, the funniest thing I have ever met. The family started laughing so hard. Then he continued. He looked at the boy and said, "You know, if the policeman stops you, tell him that you have a brain cancer. I promise, he will never give you a ticket." The boy, mother, grandmother, they continued laughing. When I was about to graduate from the medical school and pediatric oncology was on my mind, first of all, I went to my future mentor. And of course, his first question was, why you want to choose this profession? Why you want to make your life so complicated? Today, I must confess that at that time, I did not tell the whole truth. I just said, I want to treat kids, but there was a story behind it. Once with my teacher's son, who has been my friend from the medical school, we were walking outside, and the man unexpectedly came across and hugged him, saying, "Your father saved my daughter's life. He cured her from leukemia." That moment made a huge impact on me. To tell the truth, at the beginning, my teacher was trying to convince me to choose another profession, an easier one. But I asked just one question. If you have another chance, what you would choose again for your profession? His answer was immediate. I would choose the same. So my choice also was immediate. When I was leaving their house, he told me, "You know, our profession, pediatric oncology, it's like a mafia." The first thing came to my mind was a scene from Godfather. I'll make him an offer what he can't refuse. He saw that I'm confused, smiled and continued. He said, "Mafia, I mean in a good way. I mean like a family. Pediatric oncology community is like a big, huge, extended family, where every member of the family will come to help you when you need their help. We are treating kids with cancer, the most catastrophic disease. And if you need the help of even the most prominent physicians, the most prominent professors, they will reply you as soon as possible, maximum within a day." The proof of this I got later, that pediatric oncology does not have any borders. It does not recognize any wars or conflicts, any religions. It unifies everyone. I was in an international conference in the United States, and that time we had a patient who needed to get a treatment outside of Armenia. And I was trying my best to find a place for her that she could get a treatment for free. And I will never forget a woman who was the representative of the largest cancer center in the world, who told me, "Listen, if you don't find a place in the United States, please come back to me. I promise, I'll organize her treatment for free in Turkey." I stopped frozen. I did not know what to say. That woman was Turkish, and she wanted to help an Armenian child to get a treatment. She was just a wonderful human being. I asked one of my patients, a 13 years old, brilliant boy, what he would advise me to talk to you, to share with you. He thought a bit and told me that once a physician told him that his chance of death is 99%, and he replied, "No, you are wrong. My chance of survival is 99%. It's all about perception of life. Should we be so serious? An ancient philosopher, Mark Aurelius, said, "Our life is what our thoughts make it." When I was talking about the boy from Chicago who had a brain cancer and he was laughing, and his family was laughing with him as well, they were not happy about the disease, but they were happy that the child is still alive. And if there was a chance, even for 1%, they were going to take it. While we were talking here, during these 10 minutes, 4 kids around the globe got a cancer diagnosis. One of them is a Christian, another one is a Muslim, another Buddhist, another child is from a rich family. Next one lives somewhere in the slums in Africa. But there is one thing which unifies all of them. They are kids. Kids with cancer. I was in Vienna last year, and I met a friend of mine who lost his child a few years ago. When I entered his car, I saw a baby seat. He looked at me, smiled, and said, "You know, we have a new child." That was one of the happiest moments. We imagine death like a horrible guy with his black stick, but actually maybe death is an angel, because when we are facing death, it makes us more human. There was a campaign organized in Guatemala with the title, "Cancer is not contagious, but love is." Somewhere in a cafe or somewhere at home, maybe someone is waiting for you. Maybe they need a piece of your love, a piece of your empathy, maybe just a friendly hug. They might not be able to tell you about it, but they might need it. I know when you entered the room, you were asked to turn off your phones. But please, when you turn it on, send a message of love, message of empathy, or just call them. And let the love be contagious.